already. So I have this apart now. I just gotta clean this and take all this off. But before I take the shoes and the old springs out, nothing comes off until it's all clean. That's down there. I gotta find a spot to put it, and we'll get back to this shortly. Alright, so here's where we're at now. The axle looks surprisingly good. I'm gonna have to find a new one of those puppies right there. I'm gonna go get the socket for that. Alright, welcome back to Canadian Haywire. Thanks for following us on this Jeep. Today we're gonna do the rear brakes. So I got the new parts right there. I just jacked up the this side. This is the bad side, so I'll be pulling this off. Trying to get all the gear oil out of there, and then discarding the drums and the old shoes, putting the new stuff in. As you can see, it's been leaking oil for some time from there. So I'll be changing the bearing seals, the whole works. First I'll remove this brake drum, which I've already loosened once before, so it'll come off hopefully easy. So as you can tell, they left us like this for a very long time. The guy we got it from cut the rear brake lines thinking it was a brake cylinder leaking, but it's not. I mean, she was just puking out. So first step, I'm going to pull this axle out, and then I'm going to soak everything down, loosen the nut off in there, and begin the slow process of going through all this. I'm not a fan of rear brakes, but they got to be done. So I have this housing off. Like I was saying, I took a break yesterday because I wasn't feeling great. I'm going to clean all this out before I take it apart. Snap a picture so I know what goes where, when, who, and how. Hopefully the parts I bought match up. It's pretty gross, but we'll make it clean again. Alright, the worst side is it's all apart. I got a lot of cleaning to do here. It's pretty bad. I got to figure out how I'm going to get that off that shoe to put it on the other one. Doesn't look like it's going to come off. I'm going to go back to see the parts store and see if they can figure out if they got a set that has it on these ones, because you can't just simply, well, you just can't simply just throw parts on that you don't have something connected with. Okay, so I've cleaned it up, gave it a shot of paint, put the new brake cylinder on. I did the new brake line right there too. I pulled this whole thing off, wire wheeled it. It was the best way to do this. Trying to get between the leaf spring and the bolts is just, it's not fun. So we took it off. Now I have to wait for the proper parts to come in, because the place where I bought my parts, the shoes match up, except they're missing a little bar in there for the e-brake cable. Excuse me. So they also sold me the wrong wheel cylinders. They can't get the parts for a Dana 60. They can only get for Dana 44 for these Jeep trucks. I gotta see what it cross references over to and go from there. For now, we are just gonna continue on with the body work after I do a bit of a cleanup in this messy little place. And I'm going to wrap this shaft up and seal it. And then I'll start on that thing after I get the parts in, probably by Friday. Today is Sunday. It's a nice day out. I could probably go boating for a while. Anyways, I'll be back shortly. All right, welcome back. Today we're back to sanding the cab. Hopefully getting to shoot the inside of the cab not too far off. I just got a windshield for the truck. I got to pick it up tomorrow over in Alberta. I'll show you what we're doing here. Alright, so I got the brakes on. Unfortunately, I didn't film putting it together because it created a whole new vocabulary that was not suitable for YouTube. Yeah, these springs are tough. I don't care what anybody says. They're just awful. So I'm going to tighten that nut up, put the lock thinger in there, and the other nut against it. And then I'll clean up the brake drum and shove that on. I've already fit it. Fortunately had to use the new slack adjuster. I'm gonna still try to save the original one and get it freed up. That's the problem when things sit for a long time. And then I've got to, I can't get this gasket here at my local store, so I will have to source one out or fix it and silicone it. So I'm taking the second side apart just for reference, but as you can watch, all the dirt falling out of here. Oh, that sounds really good. All right, so I'm gonna take this one off. I'm gonna find the screws that are in here and loosen them off. Oh, there's one right there. So I have this all apart, trying to get the seal is proving to be interesting. The parts store is going to order it for me, and that'll be in the morning. Not the easiest part to find, even though it references back to early Chevys. Anyways, I'm getting this cleaned up. The parts will be in the morning. For now, I'll focus on finishing these brakes over here and starting on that side. Excuse me. So I'm back at the brakes today. Yes, I worked on the cab the other day and then I went boating. So now I'm on this. I don't think the seal was a problem at all. No, maybe just a little. Anyways, we're gonna pull this apart. I'll try to get the number for that seal, pull the bearings out, see if I can get those to the local part shop ordered right away, since they can't find this truck in the system. You can see by looking at these two, there's a massive difference between these two drums. It's a little frustrating. But I'm going to clean up this original one, and I think I'm going to see if I can get it turned, like I was saying, until I can get the actual parts. Okay, so I have this back together. You'll notice how you had to use the old springs. None of the new springs actually would reach. They're smaller. Not the same spring at all, so I had to reuse what I had. I'm going to try the brake drum on, and the new brake drums are not going to fit. As you can see, they stop there. They're not quite the same diameter as the holes. Really sucks. I'm going to have to clean the old one and take it down to the parts store so they can eyeball match this crap. So as you can see, the original, now that I've cleaned it, fits perfectly. Unfortunately, I'm not planning to reuse it if I can avoid it. I'm just going to load them in the truck and take them down to the part shop. So I couldn't make the old one fit, or the new ones fit, so I cleaned the old one. I shoved it on for now. This truck's not moving until I get the new brake drums anyways, and I have to put the truck back together before it's ever going to be mobile again. So that means, you know, putting the cab and stuff back together. I'm going to go start on the other side. The set screws are like seized in there. That's going to be best kind. So I'm soaking the set screws for tonight. Tomorrow I'm going to try pounding the hell out of them. I just tried it with my impact screwdriver. That did nothing. So I tried heat. That did nothing. I'm going to try some other stuff tomorrow. First of all, let it sit with some good lubricant in there. Alright, so the passenger side brake shoes are on, springs are in. If you look over here, I routed the brake line under. Initially it was up over top. That's not a good spot for it to be. You don't want it rubbing on anything. So I routed it that way. Next day's off, I'll finish connecting them up over here. For the time being, I'm going to put the drum back on until the new drums arrive, and then I've got to drill the hole out for the two screws out of the other hub there. because they are seized in. So I took an emery cloth wheel, cleaned up the inside. It wasn't grooved, thankfully. It was just full of rust. Give it a quick splash of paint just to keep the rust off it. When the new drums come in, I'll be changing that and the bearings and seals on this side and put the new drum on the other side. I'm gonna watch when you order your hardware. Sometimes the springs that come are not the right springs, or they're too small. They'll send you one for a 1/2 ton. I wanted specific to the 3/4 ton. I'm not into overstretching things, so I reused a lot of the old hardware for now. I'm just gonna put the axle back in, put the wheel on, and then that'll do it for this one. I'll just put the axle back in right now. So I tighten the top one and the bottom one first. And I'll come over to this one. I'll come down to here. I'll come over to this one. And I'll do the 2 side ones. Everybody's got a different way of doing it. I saved the old metal piece. Put it back on. Now it's just a matter of putting the big old tire on. Alright, so I got the passenger side apart. You know, it's not nearly as bad as the other side by even 5%. I mean, it still has shoes left on the things there. I'm going to pop this side apart. And then I got to get this housing here off so I can paint it and get that old cylinder off there and replace that today. And hook the brake line to that son of a gun. And put the new shoes on. That should be a lot easier than the other side. I'll be right back. All right, the next step is I'm going to take this whole plate off. I know I could just unbolt this thing here and put the new one on. I'm not very good at that. I would just rather take the whole thing apart, clean it, paint it, put it back on. All right, so yesterday, it's the next day right now, I primed the cab and this primer flashed off really fast and it started to orange peel on me on the other side. I'll show you in a sec here. Okay, so it came out looking like rock guard, which, you know what, it is what it is. I'm going to sand this down and then I'm going to look for some more flaws on this roof. I think I see one now, right here. Yeah, there's a wee bit of a flaw. You can see her there, right there. She's got to be sanded a bit more. Okay. So that might be the only bad spot left. By the Jesus. Yeah, I need to be sanded down a bit more. Okay, that's fine. We'll do a quick sand and smash on this thing. And, all right, so our next task. What I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to get this undone. Get this window rolled back up. See what the hell that even does. And then, yeah, try and get that out so I can put one from another door in there. And maybe try to pop this dent out too. That's looking pretty bad over there. I mean, fuck. I don't even know if it's recoverable. Well, it is. Just how much do I want to do? All right, it's gonna be that, or I'm gonna be switching doors. So as you can see, I've got this back on. I've got it hooked up in here, and the door lock's hooked up there, but I did not put the door key thing up in there yet. I still have to give it a work there. Our next job is going to be pop this window up and then take the one from that door. So today I'm going to loosen this off so I can get the rest of this door latch thing out, and then I'm going to try to fix that broken piece. So what I'm going to do is I'm either going to swap that door piece onto this one, or I'm going to steal the handle from that, and that way I can put my door back on here. Yeah, so not even close. But I stole the rod off it. I'll use the other door. All right, so the wing window with the broken handle is out. You know, I could drill these rivets out and then pop this out and then take it that way. I might, we'll see. First things first, I'm gonna try to get that one out now. So initially I was gonna use this door because everything was good on it. I believe those are factory Jeep speakers. Those are coming out. I gotta get it out to get at that. First thing I'm gonna do is roll the window down. And I'm gonna take this doodad trim off and see what happens from there. So I just dropped the other one in. I've gotta move this part back here again tomorrow so that I can line that there glass up. But that'll be it for tonight. I'll be back at it in the morning. And I'll hammer this back together nicely. And then we can start cleaning up this door here and sanding it. And prepping it for primer, masking all that off in there. I'll straighten out this little whoop-de-doo here and right there. And then we'll sand it, prime it. And then I've got to fix this original door with the dent in it. And it's doable. It's quite doable. Not excited about it, but I was going to use these doors. That's not going to happen because of the difference of the door strikers. Yeah, the door strikers are different. And that's not really good with me. Unfortunately, 1980 and up, they have a bigger plate. I don't understand why it won't line up, but that's just bizarre. Okay, well, back at it again tomorrow. So as you can see, I'm starting to get it into place. It's on its track, thank God for that. I've got to install this piece which goes under here, and then I will tighten that wing window down. So when you put this part back together, remember that this is slotted. So one washer will have a slot on it and it goes on before the nut, etc., okay? So I also just changed the regulator on this door, which was broken. I wasn't gonna reuse this door. I was gonna go to this door, but it's 78 and older, and trying to line up the bolt holes, it's just gonna be a pain in the rear. So I stole this window regulator because mine was rotted. It was rotted right out, as you can see, and it was broken and it just wasn't working anymore, so it's gone. I'm going to try to fix this door. I have a door skin for the lower half because I have big holes there, so that'll be all cut off and removed. I'm going to first try to dolly all that out. I think it can be done. It's not like punched all the way in. But anyways, I am going to attempt to dolly it. Hopefully. Obviously I got a high spot here. It's got to be tapped down and then correct it gently, very gently. And then try to massage that out and fix that little ridge there. And if it can be done, great. If not, I am going to cut the door skin off of option A, put the whole skin onto the middle part of the skin onto option B, because this door is actually bent on the bottom. Just realized that now. That's not so good. Well, I'm glad I didn't use that piece of junk. And then I got some spare doors to get rid of, and that'll be that. So that'll do it for this episode. Oh, and when you change your regulator, you need to get a new window strip that goes in the bottom of the track piece to make it stick together. There's the old one there that I pulled off, and then I used some window putty instead. Seems to work. All right, so today we're back on the doors. I'm taking that skin and I'm putting it on this door. All right, then I'm going to panel bond it in place and weld it. I just painted up in here a few minutes ago. It's dry already. I'll get started and we'll see how it works. Well, I can't use this one, it's full of Bondo. I'm either going to pound the shit out of that, or I'm going to take this door and steal its skin. This one I know has no Bondo. Alright, so rather than grind everything off, blah blah blah, I'm just peeling back the inner tabs as best I can because I don't want to mess this door up. I need the skin off this thing. And then I'll clean up this door, and away we go. All right, good morning. So I stole the skin from one other door to put on here. They don't make, excuse me, full door skins. So, and I have the lower piece for this if I need to use it, which I don't believe I do. Anyways, stole the door skin because I didn't really feel like beating all the dents out of this door. I got a couple little ones right there that I can fix that. The main thing is I'm just gonna weld my seam where I screwed up here. And sand it all down and do the filler work where it's needed and hopefully get this thing primed today. And then I gotta do the inside of the door. All right, we'll see how this turns out. All right, so the first coat of primer is on these doors. Actually, didn't come out too bad. I mean, a little not as clumpy as the last time with the other gun, but it does tend to spew out chunks. So you got to really pay attention to what you're doing. I got the back of my rad support primed, and I primed the back of the cab again. It puts out the paint way faster. Yeah, I'm just going to finish what I'm doing, hit the last part of the cab, and then that'll be it for tonight. All right, I think I got it. So I'm gonna quickly throw some primer on this and on this door. That way I can see where I'm at with them. I'm using U-Pol 2K primer. I find I'm gonna try putting some reduce in there so it doesn't harden up so fast.